Good happy Saturday is Saturday, October 18, 2025. I'm Riley King, and welcome to your Saturday edition of WRMK News 12. Let's get started with this Saturday edition right now. We have a lot of news to get to on this Saturday, so let's get started. First up, New Hampshire faces 400 million gap in transportation funding. New Hampshire officials are grappling with a roughly 400 million shortfall in funding for transportation projects, promoting discussions about possible toll hikes, a gas tax increase, and significant delays to planned infrastructure work. The state's 10-year transportation plan currently includes 88 projects, but officials say the plan is over-programmed and financially unstable at its current level. To close the gap, the Department of Transportation (DOT) is considering keeping 39 projects on schedule, delaying 15 and removing 34 altogether. Among the projects likely to be affected is the Everett Turnpike widening through Nashua, Merrimack, and Bedford, which could now take longer to complete. DOT Commissioner William Cass said raising construction and material costs are largely to blame for the budget crunch. Most of our revenue estimates and projects are very flat and level, Cass said. It's really a case of cost increasing while revenues stay relevantly flat. So something's got to give. To manage the deficit, transportation officials are considering spreading out project spending over additional years in hopes of aligning expenditures and expected revenues. We're trying to balance the need to maintain critical infrastructure with financial reality we're facing, Cass said. The funding debate comes as New Hampshire faces mounting pressure to monetize its transportation system while avoiding steep costs for taxpayers. Thousands expected at No Kings protest across New Hampshire today. Thousands of demonstrators are expected to gather in 28 towns and cities across New Hampshire today as part of the nationwide No Kings protest, which organizers say could become the largest coordinated day of protest in U.S. history. Events planned in communities including Claremont, Colebrook, Concord, Conway, Dover, Enfield, Gorham, Grafton, Hanover, Jaffrey, Keene, Laconia, Littleton, Manchester, Meredith, Milford, Nashua, Newmarket, New Loudon, Orford, Pelham, Plymouth, Portsmouth, Rochester, Salem, Walpole, Winchester, and Wolfboro area. This weekend marks the second nationwide No Kings demonstration following one in June that drew thousands across the Granite State, including an estimated 5,000 to 8,000 people in Concord alone. Organizers say this year's theme, No Thrones, No Crowns, No Kings, is a response to what they describe as authoritarian behavior by President Donald Trump and his administration. They argue the actions undermine the U.S. Constitution and the nation's founding ideals. The June demonstration considered with Trump's planned military parade in Washington, D.C., with the No Kings protests serving as a visible counterpoint nationwide. Officials emphasize peaceful demonstrations. As preparations continue, local and state officials are focusing on maintaining public safety. Governor Kelly Ayotte urged participants earlier this year to remain peaceful and law-abiding during demonstrations. Observantly, if anyone breaks the law, our state police and local partners will be there to make sure the law is followed, Ayotte said. But again, express yourself. Just do so responsibly. In Manchester, where large turnouts are expected, police said they plan to monitor the gatherings but do not anticipate closing roads. We are aware they'll be there and officers will monitor it. No road closures as they are stationary, said Heather Hamill of the Manchester Police Department. The New Hampshire Department of Safety also confirmed it is aware of statewide events. In a statement, the department said are there are no reports of planned disruptions or criminal activity, but that officials will continue to monitor the situation closely. We are committed to ensure public safety while promoting the rights of our residents and visitors to lawfully and peacefully gather there, exercise their First Amendment rights, including free speech and assemble, the department said. Most of the protests are expected to begin late Saturday morning or early afternoon and conclude by late afternoon. Dozens of New Hampshire wells running dry aimed ongoing drought. Dozens of homeowners across New Hampshire are reporting that their wells have gone dry as the state continues to grapple with a worsening drought. The New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, DES, said at least 76 homes have reported little to no water coming into their systems, a situation the agency considered an emergency. Officials are urging anyone experiencing dry wells to report the problem. This time of year, wells can be unpredictable, DES officials said, noting that the current drought is among the most severe the state has faced in decades. Most of affected properties have dug wells, common in older homes, which are typically much shallower than modern bedrock wells and therefore more vulnerable with groundwater levels drop. In Goffstown, a resident said several of her neighbors are already without water. She worries her own well could soon run dry. My greatest fear is helpless that there really isn't an opportunity or an option to address this very critical issue. She also said she, who moved into her home 2 years ago, said she plans to contact a drilling company to measure her well's depth for peace of mind. DES officials said they are encouraging municipalities to establish public water fill-up stations to help residents whose wells have failed. They also cautioned against adding water directly into a dry well, warning that doing so could contaminate the groundwater supply. Concord celebrated grand opening of all-inclusive playground at White's Park. A large crowd gathered at White Park in Concord yesterday evening for a grand opening of the city's first all-exclusive playground. The event began at 5 p.m. and drew strong community support as families and local officials celebrated the new space designed to be accessible and welcoming to children of all abilities. George Santos, released from federal prison after Trump commutation. Former U.S. Rep. George Santos was released from federal prison Friday night after President Trump commutated his sentence, his attorney said. Santos was picked up by family members following his release. We are going to switch gears now. Let's go into your weather. Your weather for today, sunny to partly cloudy, high 64, winds light and variable. Tonight, some clouds, low 41, winds light and variable. And tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 71, winds south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. That is a look at your weather. Now let's go into sport. In sports, Concord dominates Goffstown 42-7 in a Friday night football. In high school football action last night, the Concord Crimson Tide rolled to a dominant victory over the Goffstown Grizzlies. Concord came out strong and never looked back, defeating Goffstown by a final score of 42-7. The Tide's offense was firing on all Dillers, putting up big plays throughout the game, while the defense kept Goffstown in check from start to finish. With the win, Concord continues to build momentum heading into next week's matchup, while Goffstown looks to regroup and bounce back in their next outing. Bruins face Avalanche in a tough road matchup tonight. It's a big night on the ice. The Boston Bruins hit the road to take on Colorado Avalanche tonight. Puck drops at 9 p.m. Eastern. The Bruins, currently fourth in the Atlantic Division, are looking to keep their momentum going as they face one of the toughest teams in the Western Conference. Boston's defense has been solid so far this season, but they'll have their hands full trying to contain Colorado's high-powered offense. The Avalanche, meanwhile, are coming off a strong stretch at home and will look to capitalize on that altitude advantage in Denver. It's East versus West, Bruins versus Avalanche tonight at 9 o'clock. Stay tuned for a full post-game coverage and highlights right here. And thank you for watching this edition of WRMK News on this Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and see you tomorrow. Bye.